Guys, Mark Crossfield here, Golf Swing Weekly Fix Time with Golf WRX. Every Tuesday, 8:30, and tonight I'm talking about the top 3 myths in the golf swing that I still very much hear. These are 3 ideas that kind of very much make sense in people's heads, but in a practical practice environment, often I see it harming students more than ever helping them. Let's show you what my top 3 myths that are still being preached in the golf swing are. Let's get stuck in. Right, my first myth that I see talked about when I play with golfers, and I've seen it in videos and other things and on telly certainly, is divots. You've got to stop looking at your divot to try and work out some certain aspects of your swing. They will not show you the club path. Next to impossible to showing you the path of the club as you strike the ball. When I strike my golf ball in a good swing, I am not taking a divot at that point. My divot is coming after the ball has left the face. So if you're going to look at the direction of your divot, it's going to show you a path after impact. So trying to use your divot to work out where your club path is a big myth and a big misconception. The only thing a divot might help you do is work out low point. Obviously, if I take a divot way back here, or I take one way in front of the ball, it's showing me that a low point maybe isn't that close to the ball, but it isn't going to show you the direction of your swing. The other thing you've got to be really careful about with a divot is when I strike a golf ball, so when I hit a shot, my club is deflected down. I think I've read up to 6 degrees it can get deflected down and to the side, which then makes you take your divot. So it's even where you're striking the ball on the face and that deflection as it pushes the club through impact that can influence your divot, which is why trying to use it to work out what your club path is just very kind of a misunderstanding. You need to be measuring with devices. I use GC2 and HMT normally stuck on the side, and that's trying to measure the closest it can get to the point of contact. It's giving me the path as I hit the ball. Much better than using any kind of divots. You've got deflection and you've also got low point in there, which is confusing so many golfers. Stop looking at your divots, peoples. Get measured. Right, number 2 myth that I see talked about lots and lots, and this one really makes sense in people's heads, and I understand why it kind of does, but I see it confusing 99% of my students more than helping them, is swing plane. So the problem with swing plane, so I hear terms like, oh, I dropped under the plane, swung out to the right and flipped my hands. That's the most common one. Or people say, oh, I'm swinging over the plane. So they have this mythical 2D line drawing systems here, and they want their club to be on those lines. Now I can hit straight paths with controlled face from what people would call an upright plane, and I can also hit straight shots. This one is harder because the line of club is so out from very rounded, so I finned it, but you can see it's going straight. Flatter planes, so angles. I'm swinging here and I'm swinging here. Plane is something that very much confuses golfers because they relate it always, within reason, to path. As I've just shown you on a 2D system, I would have a very steep angle as I come down, with the angle, say, in relationship to this being 0, so more upright angle. That doesn't mean I'm going to hit down on the ball anymore. I could hit 0 angle of attack, and it also means and doesn't mean I'm going to swing on a particular path. So many people think a steep angle is going to hit down more and swing to the left, and it absolutely doesn't. Club path, angle of attack are separate measurements to whatever you want to call this measurement. Now I understand why the concept of playing in your mind makes sense, and it's one that if you use it and hit better shots, then go with it, that's fine. But I see it confusing my students more than not. The amount of students I see who feel that they're underplane hitting out to the right where they're actually swinging way left totally gets them running around in complete circles. Be very careful with the term plane. It absolutely doesn't relate to path. It doesn't have to relate to if you're hitting up or down at all, where often people bung that all into one word, call it plane, draw those lines, and people go nowhere. Okay, so the third myth that I see just constantly presented, certainly on telly as well, in magazines, in videos, and if Garcia is ever in an event, this one just blows my brain off. It's lag, the term lag. So the idea of trying to get the club behind your hands on the way down, holding on to angles to release angles for speed. Now, I have not seen any golfer who doesn't have some angle on the way down. Some golfers might take those angles out earlier than others. From a 2D camera straight on position, what happens is different angles that you drop the club down from a front on 2D angle will look very different from this relationship. So the relationship between left arm and club, it'll look very different depending on the angle it's coming down on the way down. So trying to measure whatever this lag is from a front on camera, which is the way everyone does it, and measuring this angle is totally preposterous. It doesn't work. It's completely false. Now, the biggest problem I see with students is they have often got the face very open to a path. Now, the reason they often have a face open to a path is they're not very good at lining up the face, say, to the hands or the amount of shaft lean that they need to hit a straight shot. Often I see hands coming back or hands certainly coming forward, leaving a face open to a path. That's people often trying to hang on to this lag angle for ages. I've seen it wreck students. Lag is also very much a product of other movements. So for me, lag is produced by the order or sequence that I put into the downswing. So the angle that I create, I'm not trying to create it. It happens from the other good stuff that's going on in my swing. You just trying to hold on to angle. I've seen so many students do it, trying to hold on to angle is a recipe, hitting high calves off to the right all day long. Don't measure from the side on. I see people doing it. It won't help you. You've got to equate for this angle when you're measuring from the side on. And also, if there is no angle, if you're chucking those angles away, there will often be a very solid reason, often around loft. So people chuck those angles away to try and deliver face to pass, those kind of things. Like I said, it's a product of better things. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, all the normal social places. Also, come and visit my new website, markcrossfieldgolf.com. See you over there.